Welcome to the podcast Motherhood Decoded, presented by the Louisville Mom Collective.
Hi, welcome everyone. Today we have Jerusha from our contributing team with us today. She is going to talk about cool grandparents and the fact that she did not have cool grandparents, which she loved. So before we get into that, do you want to tell everybody a little bit about you?
Hi, I'm Jerusha. I'm a stay-at-home mom to 3 boys and 2 dogs. I've been in Louisville, Kentucky for quite some time, but I grew up in Tennessee.
Yay! So let's just have you read the post. If anybody wants to reread it, we will include the link down below. But it was called I Didn't Have Cool Grandparents, and it actually got published just this past month. So I will let you take it away.
Okay. I didn't have cool grandparents, but they taught me so many life skills. I remember hearing about friends' grandparents. They bought their grandchildren things and took them for cool trips. If I asked for anything at the grocery store, I got my middle name called out and a lecture about asking for things that I did not need. Instead, my visits consisted of walking the local mall with lunch at Piccadilly Cafeteria or hiking a park or in the eastern Tennessee mountains with a packed lunch. I was jealous of others at the time, but now I'm thankful for all they taught me. When we went hiking, we were quizzed on all the trees, bushes, and plant types. My grandmother was adamant we learn about poison ivy, oak, and sumac. Fallen leaves turned into questions about which tree they were from. I remember going up into the mountains once to pick muscadines to make Grandma's infamous muscadine jelly. So good on biscuits, by the way. I watched her make jelly and can other items, and she even gave me all her supplies. I did not cherish them as I should have and sold them years later at a yard sale. I wish I had kept them now. I still have my great-grandma's sewing machine, which I spent hours watching and learning how to sew. It was one of the first electric ones ever made. We were also taught to listen to all the animals and taught to recognize each of the birds by sight and sound. I thank them for my love of nature. Although I did not fully learn to play the piano as my grandmother insisted, I thoroughly enjoyed listening to her play her piano or mini organ. I still get to hear my mom play hers as well, and I do know how to read sheet music. We also listen to classical music in the car and at home, or my cousin played the fiddle, who is a multiple national champion, as well as many other instruments. I thank them for learning to appreciate music and all the great composers. My grandparents were avid rock and mineral connoisseurs, traveling all over the United States as well as Canada and Mexico. You should have seen the giant collection they had in their house and garage. My grandmother gave my husband a few, which he cherishes to this day. I thank them to this day for my love of precious gems and for being able to identify most. One of my favorite things to do with my grandfather was watching a Braves game in the basement with a roaring fire. I did not care what season it was or how hot it outside. I always asked him to build a fire. He loved old westerns, so if it wasn't baseball season, there was an episode of Gunsmoke or a John Wayne movie playing. I thank him for my ability to watch a baseball game, as so many people despise the sport, as well as my love of a good fire. There's nothing more relaxing than the sound, smell, and atmosphere of a fire. I list all these things proudly, but take that with a grain of salt. There were many things they inadvertently taught me that I did not accept and would never teach my children. I am thankful for the life skills they taught me and that my parents taught me to decipher right from wrong. There are so many traditions that are handed down simply because that is how it has always been done, but that does not make it right. I'm thankful that I didn't have cool grandparents.
It is so awesome. It kind of makes me feel like my grandparents weren't that cool either, but I would not have had it any other way. But okay, was it muscadines? Muscadines? What was that word?
Muscadines, yeah. They're blueberry. They kind of, I guess they're about the size of a blueberry, if I remember correct. This was years ago. But it turns into like a brown jelly. Like, it looks really gross, but it tastes really good.
Are they only in Tennessee? Or can you find them in Louisville?
If I had to guess, I would say they're probably throughout the Appalachian Mountains. But I only went to eastern Tennessee to see them.
Oh. Do you have a recipe still?
No. But I do follow a canning group on Facebook. So I could get one, just substitute. You know, it's just sugar and pectin and whatever.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that might be a fun post in case anybody wants to make an Appalachian mountain trip and find the berries. You tell us about the berries. I was like, I want to try it now. Oh, man. Yeah, I remember, my grandparents, they were all about like just experiences and like getting out into nature. My grandparents had tons of land and a huge like garden. And so she was always getting me out there. My grandma taught me how to sew. She was like, you need to learn this important skill. And they also had this big like cast iron, like old school like stove that they used like as a fireplace in the corner of the family room. And my great grandma was always making blankets, crocheting blankets or knitting. I don't know what the right term is. I need to learn either of them.
Probably knitting.
Okay. But yeah, my great grandma had this blanket that was there. I ended up getting it eventually, but I would always curl up with it. And we were there in the summers. And I didn't care how hot it was outside. I wanted that blanket, and I wanted my grandpa to put that like old school cast iron stove on. My grandma may have been pretty cool though. So she taught us how to play poker with like little sugar wafer cookies and assigned them different values. So then we got to eat the cookies, but my mom wasn't very happy when she found out. She taught us how to play poker.
Oh no, yeah, I don't remember ever playing like any board games or anything with my grandparents. Now that I think about it. No.
Yeah.
No
yeah, it's like
no.
Yeah.
No.
Any things they taught you? You said that you weren't going to pass on to your children?
They had some verbiage in their language that I would definitely not repeat.
I remember my grandpa, he passed away several years ago now, but he would always wear these one boxer shorts around the house, and my grandma always got on him, but he called them his Joseph shorts, like his shorts with many colors, because they were like rainbow stripes, white in them. But he was obsessed with them, and so he'd just always go around and be like, got my Joseph shorts on. And his favorite thing to say was Judas Priest, like all the time.
I just remember Grandma always wore like her robe. Like she only got dressed like to go to the store or her hair appointment. Like if she had to have her hair done perfect and her makeup, and you know she has a little mirror and everything. Yeah, because if you didn't like call ahead, she'd be like, I don't have my clothes on. I'm like, but you have a robe on, like you're okay. Like. For sure.
Oh man, that's hilarious. So Derek's mom, the hubby for everybody that's watching, she is in her early 80s. She's the same age as my grandma, who's still alive. But we told her that we were getting her for Thanksgiving. She did not want to, she was like, I don't want to go anywhere. You know, people can bring me plates. And we were like, no, we're picking you up. You better be ready. You're having Thanksgiving at our house. And so I called her Thanksgiving morning and I said, I'm on my way. Be there in like 40 minutes. It's like, I don't have any, I'm not wearing anything. I'm not dressed. And I was like, I really don't care what you put on. It's just us. But if I have to go up there and carry you out in your pajamas and your underwear, you're going to our house. She was like, I'm putting on sweatpants and sweatshirt then. And I was like, good. That's what I'm wearing.
Yep. There you go.
No, so I'm
she would never leave the house. And never. Not even in the nursing home did she ever wear anything that was beneath a certain level.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. She didn't know where she was. She was always asking for her handbag, because they didn't around. Yeah, she was always like, somebody has stolen my purse. And we're like, no, they just don't, you don't need it, honey.
Oh, I was like, definitely a different generation.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, but yeah. Oh, yeah. She was the one that was always like, Jerusha, make sure you have clean underwear on in case you're in an accident. What?
Yeah.
Thanks, Grandma. That was the most important thing that I needed to take care of today. Thank you. You've been told that too, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
I know. Like, do they tell guys that? No. Would she have ever told my brother? No, for sure.
Oh man, yes, so many good memories. I remember there was one time though, because we did not get stuff, but there was one time that my grandma was like, "You each have $5 to spend at the dollar store," and it was like the biggest deal ever that grandma was actually letting us. Like, yeah, we didn't care it was the dollar store. We were just so excited.
Yeah, I never. I'm trying to think. I can probably count on one hand how many times she bought something. But like, I remember, do you remember the Gateway computers that came in the big like cow print box? Yeah, one just showed up at our house one day and we were like, we didn't order a computer. Like my parents were like, did you take our credit card? And I was like, no, I sure did not. Yeah, and then Grandma was like, oh yeah, I thought y'all might need one. Yeah, and then one time I went to visit, I think I was a senior at MTSU maybe. And she just comes out to the car and she's like, here you go for your hard work. She gave me like $1,000. I was like, what?
I was like, what'd you do with my grandmother?
What just happened? Like, what is this? Is this a trick?
Oh, yeah. I mean, those stand out to you though, because it was something that she didn't really do.
Yeah, I mean, if she took us out to eat, we went to Piccadilly, which was a cafeteria. I don't know if you're familiar with them. Like we had Luby's down in Tennessee. Well, there were some Piccadillys too. But anyway, you got your little plate. Like you didn't ask for like desserts and stuff, Don't be asking for, why don't you drink water? Don't be, yeah. There was definitely, but they were both born in 29, so they lived through the Depression, so.
Yeah, I feel like the grandparents I've had that went through the Depression, it was much different mindset. Yeah. Yes. So what have you passed on to your boys then?
Well, I've just now gotten to where like I sew or do my cross stitch in front of them because, 3 boys, things are weapons. So I didn't like want to have needles like out, I know that sounds bad, but I like things like that. And then they're watching and they're like, well, I want to do that. And I was like, okay, well, I got the sewing machine out one day and I was like, here, I'll, show you. Yeah. I was like telling them what the bobbing was and how you thread it through the needle and stuff. Yeah.
Aw. They do a lot of stuff outside with them.
Yeah, we've been taking them for nature walks. We live right beside a park. That's where my husband has taken all of them, so they're not screaming in the background right now. Yeah, so we try and like point out things to show them. They're really obsessed with mushrooms right now.
Yeah,
I guess because of the rain or something. Like we even had like ones pop up in the front yard, like giant ones. I was like, what is that? But I guess it's the rain. It just got wet and it's moist.
Oh, yeah. I feel like in the past week, we've had all sorts of mushrooms. And then we've had to keep the little beagle puppy out of them because I don't know which ones are poisonous or not.
Yes. Well, and even like in the ground, because I used to babysit and there was a dog that dug holes and got into something and sniffed it. Yes. So, yeah, for sure. Don't.
Yeah, I was like, you should probably stay away from the mushrooms because whatever, she like took a bite of it and then that night, like she was like drooling everywhere and her eyes were watering and then she like threw up her whole dinner.
Oh no.
And then she was fine the next day and like she wasn't lethargic or anything, but I was like looking at was apparently like
you probably got it out.
An allergic reaction and I was like stay away from the mushrooms.
I'm telling you.
I'm like, oh, it's like having a toddler child all over again.
They're fast too. When they're puppies, my goodness.
Yeah, because you have 2, right? You have 2 dogs, right? Yeah. Oof. Yes. So funny. Do you remember all the different like gemstones and leaves and everything that they taught you?
Girl, I used to be way better than I am now. I usually get pretty close. But with gemstones, yeah. But there's some now, like, because it's like back in being cool, I guess, you know? Because I mean, for forever, it was like, oh no, why would you be talking about that, you know? But yeah, I feel like, and now there's ones I didn't even know, like, what was one, lepidolite or something that I saw the other day, and I was like, I don't remember that one, but I'm sure it was in there. I just didn't pay attention.
Yeah, Addie's always loved rocks and gemstones. We signed her up for this, was it like gemstone of the month club or something. So she gets like a new like crystal or gemstone, and it tells like, you know, all about it and what it is, and so she's enjoyed that. So I'm like, I don't know all that stuff.
No, yeah, my mom brought like all my books like that I used to have when I was a kid up for my boys to look at and stuff. Because I remember like I'd go to the book fair and I'd want stuff like that. They used to have little rock and gemstone like kits and stuff.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, yeah. So any thing else you want to share about the post or grandparents or?
We can talk about, you were talking about the garden. I always remember they actually had like grapevines, like they had like old I guess like telephone poles that they kind of cut down, and they used that to make like these huge grapevines. Yeah, and then they would make jelly and stuff out of them and can. I mean, like their whole basement was like a canning, like I don't even know what you'd call it, like cellar, I guess you used to say, but it was, you know.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be full of stuff like that they grew until, you know, they got older and they couldn't take care of stuff. So
yeah,
doing that. But I remember they had a big old gazebo that they built. Like it was up on, it had like a storage area underneath that they bricked up, and then you'd walk up the stairs to the big gazebo.
Oh, nice.
Like a little hangout, except the wasps and things would make nests in it in the summer, so you had to be careful sometimes.
Aw, fun. Well, yeah. So, what kind of grandparents are both your husband's parents? What type of grandparents are they to your kids?
So the grandparents in my article is my mom's parents, and then like my dad's parents, I never knew his dad because he died before I was born, and I wasn't really close to his mom, neither was he. So until she was in the nursing home, and we went to visit her every week. But like my husband's grandma is still alive. She'll be 91 this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so she's, I always joke that she's like Paula Deen, except she uses like more butter. Yeah, like she's been to Paula Deen's restaurant and she doesn't like it. She said there's too much salt. But yeah. But she's fun. Yeah, she likes to cook and show things. She grew up in the country and she can teach them how to do stuff.
Yeah. Did your mom inherit any of the qualities, or
she plays the piano?
The lesson? Yes.
She plays the piano just like her mom did. Not that I can't, but it just, I think it was more that she was adamant that I learned it, and I just was not, I don't like being told what to do most of the time. So if I want to do it, I'm going to do it. That's not, no, this isn't the way to do that. I'm trying to think. My mom definitely does not cook as well as I do, but my grandma didn't cook very well either. So. But she could can and do all kinds of other things.
Your mom cans?
No, my mom doesn't. Sorry.
Oh, your grandma couldn't cook, but she could can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, she tried to cook, but it just not on the, not on the same caliber. Bless her heart. She tried.
Oh, so where did you learn your awesome cocktail making skills?
Well, that was a pandemic positive. So my cooking skills also. So I had plenty of time to watch all the Chopped episodes. So every day I would play like I was on Chopped. Like I didn't use the timer per se because I don't think I could actually do it in the time limit. But I'd be like, all right, we have this and this. Okay, I need to make a sauce, so let's find something. And yeah, that was it. And then the cocktail just kind of came. Like I was like, let's see, we'll just start mixing stuff up and figure this out.
Yes, yeah, it was fun when we were doing the Facebook Live Fridays or whatever at first. You would show up with your cocktails, or
I do. I have one in the background, but I figured it wouldn't be. I probably wouldn't be drinking while I'm talking.
Might make it more interesting.
One never knows.
So what cocktail's behind you then?
It's just a margarita. Just usually my go-to. Yeah, I was doing lemon drops for a long time, but you have to make simple syrup and have fresh lemons, and yeah, it's a little extra. I mean, it's good, but
yeah,
it's just easier.
Not if you just want a quick cocktail. Yeah,
yeah, it's iced tequila and my favorite margarita mix. So that's it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, fun. Well, yeah, thank you for being willing to do this and spend some of your evening talking about your posts and let people get to know you more. So it's always fun to see you. For me personally, hopefully everybody that watches enjoys it as well.
Thanks for having me, Courtney.
So fun. Well, hopefully another one of these months you'll be willing to talk about one of your other posts. I feel like all of them are great, but this was a fun one to start with.
Yeah, I like this one.
Yay. All right. Well, thank you. Thanks everybody for watches and listens. Again, we will post the link to the post down below, and then I just have to muscadines. If anybody has a good recipe for that, feel free to leave it in the comments and let us know where exactly we can go to pick these. So awesome. Well, thanks again. And we will definitely do this again sometime soon.
All right. Bye.
Thanks for joining us, and tune in for our next episode.